have so much tea. Filming Airrack's big brother was actually one of the most wild experiences I've ever had. So much happened in 24 hours that I know Airrack was not able to include everything that went down. I'm going to take you behind the scenes, walk through my experience after filming for 24 hours, 8 cameras, 15 mics. There's a lot to cover, so let's get into it. Before watching this recap, make sure you've watched Airrack's video so this all makes a lot more sense. And so you know all the people I'm going to be talking about. The night before, I was feeling really good. I got an email detailing where we were supposed to go, the fact that we were going to put our phones away for 24 hours and have zero access to the outside world. Called my friend Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Found out she was also competing, as well as a bunch of my other friends that I had met from other videos, including Jack.
Okay. Whoa.
So I show up at this mansion and it is so beautiful. Chick-fil-A and Starbucks at our disposal. There's 50 people in the front yard and already everybody's starting to talk to each other. As you already know, people are forming alliances and we have no clue what's going to happen once we walk in those doors. I just wanted to meet everybody. In the back of my head though, I know there can only be one winner. I know $10,000 is on the line. So I'm just taking tabs on who's there and what alliances I could maybe get into when I walk in those doors. The time comes where we all have to put away our phones. I've never gone 24 hours without a phone before, but it was really refreshing. When we handed in our phones, we received a blindfold. One by one, we were taken into the mansion. I'm sure in Airrack's video, it looks like this process took 35 seconds, but we were standing in this house blindfolded for probably about 30 minutes. Eventually, we all formed some kind of formation that the guys in the masks had arranged. On Airrack's cue, we took our blindfolds off and just saw him on this big screen. We're all looking around like, what the heck? And I noticed there's 15 chairs in the corner. Jack kind of whispers to me and he's like, Skylar, be careful. Airrack could just say, whoever is the first 15 in those chairs gets to stay and everybody gets to go. And Airrack says instead that there are all of these red golf balls around the house. And the first 15 people to get a golf ball and make it to the seats stay and everybody else goes. So I'm frantic. I'm running around trying to find a golf ball. I can't find them anywhere. And it's pure chaos. I mean, there are 50 of us running around. And so quickly, everybody's finding them. Mack finds one. Hope finds one. Tyler. I was not going to allow myself to not get one of those seats. All of a sudden, Mack and a couple of the people on the chairs look me in the eye and say there's a golf ball in the pool. So without hesitation, I start sprinting to the pool. I see it. Josh is right next to me. And out of instinct, I literally elbowed him so hard to jump into the pool, find the golf ball. I'm soaking wet. And might I add, I actually took time in this video to get ready, to do my hair and makeup. Okay, I did not do that for Airrack's 100 dates video that I was in because I overslept. If you haven't seen the recap of that video, you can watch it right here. I have a golf ball and I feel so relieved. I assume I've secured a seat. So I'm leisurely walking from the backyard into the living room where all the chairs are. And everybody who already has a chair is looking at me like, run, Skylar, run! I'm like, what do you mean? I don't need to run. I have the last golf ball. Turns out there's a million golf balls around the mansion and there are a bunch of other people with golf balls walking towards that last seat. So I start sprinting. I almost slip and I make it. I'm so excited and then I look around at all of the other people who have red golf balls in their hands but didn't get a seat, and everybody is so devastated because we had already been there at that house for about 3 or 4 hours prepping for the start of the video. And that was the end of the first challenge. I started looking around at who had the 15 seats, and I'm already noticing Mack is dating Avery, Tyler's dating Sam, Hope is Airrack's girlfriend, and they're all friends.
All of us have been with our girlfriends for 2+ years at least.
Jimmy and Frankie are friends. We're all starting to think strategy of who can be alliances with who and take each other to the top. Time for challenge 2, the talent show. We have 10 minutes to put together an original talent. I really wanted to sing with Jack. In the dating show, Jack had mentioned he was a singer.
You sound like an angel.
Dude, that was beautiful. I'm like gonna cry.
You're also a musician.
Yeah.
And the biggest connection that we had in the dating show was honestly the talent portion of the competition.
Oh, Jack, I got a fact for you. 100 girls in the world, they want you.
Sky.
Around, Jack.
Yo, yeah, that's
Great.
Okay. Cool.
So after running around and finding a guitar in this house, I asked Jack if he wanted to sing with me. And I was really hoping he'd say yes, but he said no. So, like, how fun would that have been if Jack and I sang a song together? I just kind of sat down with the 5 minutes I had left and wrote a song of my own. I had everybody singing along and we were all having a good time. There were definitely some interesting talents, but all in all, I was so impressed by everybody, and it felt like we were all in like a middle school summer camp sharing our talents and giving everybody a participation prize, except we have to eliminate somebody. And unanimously, without really talking about what we were gonna do, we all voted out Iman and April. I think it was because Iman is a frequent guest star in Airrack's channel, and from those videos, I think everybody noticed that he's really good at talking game with a lot of different people, so he seemed like a pretty big threat, and it was a good opportunity to eliminate him. I felt really bad because I wanted April in the competition, but she chose Iman to do her talent with, so they had to go. On to the next crazy thing that happened. None of us knew what was going on ever. And as the production team is setting up everything for the different challenges, it just gets more and more suspenseful. For example, the production team started setting up those red and blue t-shirts and had these two little pegs for people to stand on. I thought that we were going to be like jousting each other or something, but instead we were just picking teams. It really did feel like I was in a PE class and the team captains were choosing their best players. Although I love being a leader, I knew if I were to be a captain, I would be an immediate target. Hope became a captain of her team and Preston became a captain of his. Nobody really wanted to be a team captain because everybody knew it made them a threat, and it did, because eventually they were the ones that had to eliminate somebody off their team. I was picked last for the blue team, which honestly was okay with me because it made me look like even less of a threat in the game, and that gave me a lot of leeway to make alliances that were really low-key. Then Airrack announces the third challenge, which is dodgeball. I freaking love dodgeball, and I had a lot of faith in our team, but we sucked so bad. It was actually pretty pathetic, and because we lost, Preston had to eliminate somebody from our team immediately, and eliminated Avery. All of us are really thankful to stay in. I love Avery though. Every elimination was so sad, but it's the name of the game, and it easily could have been me or anybody else on the blue team, so I was really thankful to have stayed in that round. At this point, without a phone and any sense of time, things started getting kind of like jumbled in my head. At some point, we got to bring one of the players back, originally eliminated after the golf ball round. I wanted Megan back, but majority rules and Josh was voted back in. I love Josh. I was so excited to have him back, and he was pretty much the only Big Brother super fan. Like, he's actually watched all the shows. The next round was trivia. I think we won, but I honestly don't remember. And after trivia was sumo wrestling. When the sumo wrestlers came out and Airrack announced that whoever could get the slice of pizza on the other end of the sumo wrestlers would win immunity, Sam, or Beans, which is his nickname, went first, went underneath the sumo wrestlers and got the pizza immediately. The whole idea was for it to be impossible for us to get the pizza on the other end. So we opened the floor up again for anybody to try to get the pizza. And not a lot of people wanted to do it, but I really wanted to try, so I gave it a go. I got so close. I got so close to getting that pizza, but I didn't. Mack tried as well and actually got pretty hurt. One of the sumo wrestlers, who's upwards of 500 pounds, just totally slammed him on the floor and like laid on him, and his arm hyperextended. So that was pretty crazy, but he was okay. We moved on to dinner, a casual hangout. At some point also, Hope got immunity, and Beans already had immunity because of his pizza, and we were chilling. Everything was fine. But there was something in the corner of the room, and that was this red button that said, "Don't press the red button." And Jack, being curious, eventually went up and pressed the red button, and Airrack flashed up on the TV screen and told Jack he'd have to eliminate one of the players. Of course, because Jack was on the red team, he was going to eliminate somebody from the blue team, so he wanted to eliminate Preston. It was really dramatic, and I don't think they're gonna include a lot of what happened because there was so much deliberation. The red team probably spent a solid 30 minutes trying to figure out who to eliminate, and eventually the decision was made to eliminate Preston. This was especially sad because 1, Preston was a great team captain, but 2, Beans had already used his immunity card to save Preston in a super heroic moment earlier on in the show. But we had to say bye to Preston, which, for the purposes of the game, just meant that everybody else was one step closer to $10,000. Then Airrack told us it was time for a party. It was very strange partying after eliminating somebody, but this is also where Sam and I became really close friends. Sam was on the red team, and she's so awesome, and we had a really good time dancing. We played Party Rock a lot. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We also played this game called We're Not Really Strangers, which is a great game to get to know people better, which made it even harder to know we were gonna have to say goodbye. Then our party was abruptly interrupted because Airrack said that without talking, we'd have to go in and vote somebody else off our team. I was so sad, but obviously we see it coming. We're having to eliminate people. about every other hour. At this point, I had kind of made alliances with Arthur and with Sam on the red team. And then on the blue team, Frankie, Josh, and Jimmy had kind of formed a bro alliance with Jack too. And I was considering myself a part of that alliance as well. On the blue team, it seemed like Tyler would be the biggest threat because he's dating Sam on the red team and is really good friends with Mack and Hope. So if we stopped playing as teams, the rest of us figured that he would switch sides. Beans was never really a threat. He was always just so kind and amazing. Without talking and mainly just with eye contact, the blue team decided to vote out Tyler, and then on the red team they decided to vote off Arthur. We were then given pillows and blankets, all escorted into the movie theater room, and slept on the seats. Then a few of the people slept on air mattresses. It was hilarious because we kept cracking jokes throughout the whole night. Sam slept like a baby. She slept so well. I could not sleep at all. I, for a while, was trying to sleep on the chair. At one point, tried to sleep on the floor. At one point, I was just pacing the floor. I probably got about 2 hours of sleep, but that's okay, you know? We can still run a good competition on sleep deprivation. Before you know it, it's 6:30 in the morning. The guy in the ski mask comes in, blows a loud air horn, like it's a siren, wakes everybody up, and we're all thinking that this could be the start of a competition. So I sprint out of that room and am pleasantly surprised at the fact that it's literally just breakfast. Airrack announces over breakfast that the red team and blue team is no longer a thing. Now we're just operating as individuals making our own alliances. The tea is that right when I woke up, I was pulled into a room by Hope and Sam and Jack, and they wanted to form an alliance with me. They said, Skylar, we need a majority vote, and you would make our alliance a majority. What shook me is that Jack was part of this crew in the morning, but yesterday night, he was making an alliance with Jimmy, Frank, and Josh. So I knew I could use this information to my advantage, which was kind of good for me, because I had people who were majority on the red team who wanted to form an alliance with me, and also people on the blue team who I already had an alliance with. And it was equal number of people in each alliance, and then it was me. So if I wanted to vote with Hope, Sam, and Jack, and Mack, I could make an alliance there. But if I wanted to vote on the side of Jimmy, Frankie, Josh, and Beans, and I would also help that alliance. The only person who I really broke the alliance they were already in was Jack. Jack was blatantly going around making alliances with 2 separate teams, which really put a target on his back. I went and told the guys that Jack was making an alliance with the girls and Mack, so the guys really wanted to get Jack out. Fast forward to the next challenge, the memory challenge. I did not win, but that was okay. We still had another challenge, which this one was something else. Literal needle in the haystack. The goal is simple, find the needle in the haystack, and the person who doesn't find the needle before everybody else loses. There's piles of hay in the backyard and we're ready to roll. I mean, I am ready. Airrack warns us that there's some kind of living creature in the haystack. I'm really hoping it's a joke. In the Airrack video, it's gonna look like this happened over the span of 3 minutes, but this challenge lasted about an hour and a half or so. I mean, it was a long time. It was grueling. It was super hot outside. Everybody's sweating. There's just dust everywhere from the hay. Sam and Frankie find their needles pretty fast. I'd say probably within the first 10 minutes. I find the 3rd needle after about 15-20 minutes of searching, and everybody's morale is plummeting after people are not finding needles. Time also feels very long in this competition because we don't have our phones, we can't keep track of time. Since everybody else in the competition is frantically searching around, I kind of use this as an opportunity to make some power moves. I talked to Frankie about the alliance that Jack was trying to make with the other people on the red team. And then separately, I go and talk to Sam, and I'm like, look, Sam, you're honestly one of my favorite people in the competition. I would love to go to the top with you. Who would be the people that you would want to bring with you, and who would be the people that you'd want to eliminate? So we have this conversation. Frankie pops in and tells Sam that Jack said that he's trying to get Sam out of the competition, which is not true, but still got my point across that Jack was trying to play both sides and form alliances with 2 very blatantly different alliances. So Sam says that she would love to go to the end of the competition with me, that Frankie would be a really cool person to take to the end of the competition. So I agree with her. I think that would be an awesome group to go, and as long as we have an agreement, we could make a new alliance and take that to the end. So we keep our conversation short so that it's not obvious to the other people who are searching for needles. Eventually, Hope finds a needle and Mack finds a needle, and it's just Jack and Jimmy. We're all just watching them for about 10 minutes. This probably also won't go in the Airrack video, but at some point they ended up wrapping up more needles and throwing more needles into the pile, so it gave us a better opportunity to find them faster. We were really searching for forever. Jimmy finds a needle and Jack is the only one who hasn't found it, which meant he was eliminated from the competition. Honestly, it was probably a good thing that he was eliminated that way, because otherwise we would have voted him out. Sorry, Jack. Things are getting pretty intense, seconds and it's already the next day. We were told earlier that we were going to wrap up filming by noon, and at this point it's already 10. So we only have 2 hours to finish this entire video, and there's a lot of us left. Airrack comes on screen again in the living room and tells us to pick somebody that we trust and that we would want to take to the end of the competition with us. Sam and I look at each other and we're like, yes girl, let's go, we got this. I was so stoked because honestly, I thought her and I would be a power team. Frankie and Jimmy paired up, Hope and Mack paired up, and Josh and Beans paired up. Each pair was told to stand on either side of a red line and face each other. And then Airrack said, okay, great. Now you guys choose which of you two to eliminate. And that was probably the hardest part of the competition. Sam and I did not know what to do. We both really wanted to be there. So we decided a casual game of rock, paper, scissors would handle it, and I won rock, paper, scissors, so I stayed in the competition. I just really wanted to give her the win and let her play, but it was hard because I also really wanted to play, and she did just win $1,000, so it wasn't like she wasn't gonna win anything, and I don't know, it was hard. So yeah, so then it was 4 of us. Like I said, all these people have become my friends. Surprise, in the period of time between filming that last bit and this bit, I am now in Nashville, no longer in Los Angeles. I did not even talk about the final scene yet. So let's pick back up where we were. So now it was really just between me, Hope, Josh, and Jimmy, which was not the last final 4 that I expected, but I wasn't mad about it. And so on to the next challenge, hide and go seek. We basically had 5 minutes to hide anywhere in the mansion, and then Airrack was gonna come and find us. The stakes were really high because the person who won had the ability to vote somebody off. And because Hope had immunity, I knew that if one of the guys had won, they would have voted me off. So I had to win, and I had to vote one of the guys off for sure. So I love hide and seek, and I decided if I could find a drawer small enough and fit into it, that would be the perfect hiding place, and I did. So I brought pillows with me from the couch, hid inside of this random cabinet, closed the door, and it was terrifying because Airrack was like prancing around looking for all of us. At one point, Airrack literally opened the cabinet and I thought he was gonna find me, but then he shut it and apparently didn't see me. I'm so glad I hid with the pillow, otherwise I would have been a goner. In that same minute, he found Hope in another cabinet drawer and then found Jimmy on the top kitchen cabinet, and I think he found Josh first. So after like 10 minutes of squeezing into this cabinet like a freaking contortionist, definitely need to go see a chiropractor now that I've done that. But I won immunity. So many people listening to me tell this story right now. I'm gonna find a place to sit. So let's keep up with the story. So because I won the hide and go seek challenge, I was able to vote somebody off, and I decided to vote off Jimmy because if I were looking objectively at the players, Josh was the biggest Big Brother fan, and he was also part of the Blue Team Alliance on the show. And Hope had immunity. The immunity card was going to go void after this round, so it didn't make any sense to vote her off. This really was my only opportunity to get somebody else out of the challenge, so I got Jimmy off. I felt bad again because he's one of my friends, and this was my first opportunity to have full control over who was going to stay in or stay out of the game. And that leaves us with one final challenge, which was a wrestling match between Hope, Josh, and I. And if you've seen the video, you know how that goes. I don't think it was very fair. I really could have won if Hope had paired up with me to get Josh out of the ring first. I think just out of panic, Hope went for me first because between Josh and I was the easiest to get out. And so I had to fight Hope first and get her out of the ring. And then it was just Josh and I. And because I wasn't low enough to the ground immediately, Josh just like picked me up and threw me out of the ring. And that was that. Just like that, I lost $10,000, or at least like didn't win the prize, and Josh won the prize, and then he gave free pizza to Sam for 3 years.
Pizza, 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 pizza.
I'm so bad. I won an amazing experience and a great time, and I'm just so thankful for the opportunity. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. This is so much fun to recap. Like